This is about leveling flow, defined sequences and roles, which is subtitled standard work. So if you Google standard work, it's a standard lean technique, you'll get a million hits on that. So what we're trying to do is level the load in the mix as much as possible. That's the Japanese term for that is haijunka, and if you Google that, you'll get another million hits. If your workload and mix are level, then you just move your samples through repeating cycles of test, which we call a rhythm wheel. You do every test every whatever interval, so that you can move the stuff quickly. That's how to get flow when you have level demand. We've only ever done one lab where it was actually level. And if the workload and mix are volatile, which is much more common, you use a device called a leveling queue or some variation on the theme. By the way, the examples I'm going to show you, we've never repeated the same solution twice in labs. Labs are different, they have different products, different tests. They follow the same principles all the time, but they look different in how they're managed, applied, and what you physically see in the labs. Okay. So you develop continuous flow wherever possible and less continuous flow elsewhere. That's really the mantra. Stutter flow, we call it sometimes. In other words, you flow as much as you can within the constraints of the technology. By continuous flow, sometimes it's possible to bolt a couple of wet tests together and to actually have single piece flow, to move a sample through a series of very short tests. If that's possible, you should do it. There's no reason why you wouldn't. You send your customer demand to one process step, which is normally the start of the lab. It's a queue at the start of the lab. That's akin to pacemaker scheduling. It's a form of pacemaker scheduling. And then you flow thereafter, FIFO and no overtaking. So you hold and hold and hold, and then you let something into the lab and it goes through it quickly in a very prescribed order and method. And then the next thing to do is you resource and test to what's the leveled demand rate. So if you're going to hold things in a queue, it's so that you can release them at the same rate, the same work content every day, every week, whatever it happens to be. That's the leveled demand rate. And then you have enough people to meet that. And I'll show you how you figure that out in a few slides' time. And then standardize and balance the work. And the method we use is defined sequences and roles. In other words, none of this thing where because you're a good analyst you get more work, or because we have more work you get more work. So about balancing and leveling out those things as well.